Okay, this is the first video of a series of videos that I'm going to do called Guitar Stories. And I'm going to talk about my guitars and the stories behind them. And the first one I'm going to talk about is my black Fender Squire, which makes sense because I actually purchased this guitar way back in 2012. I officially did not start learning how to play guitar until the pandemic in 2020. However, I bought my first guitar in 2012. I had just played a soccer game and I was exhausted. And it was down in Capitol Hill area of Seattle. I was living in Seattle at the time, and I just played in a soccer game, and I was waiting for my second husband, Kenneth, who was alive, and we were married, to pick me up because he had dropped me off. I forget why. And I was just kind of walking around the Capitol Hill area, which is where the University of Washington is. Beautiful campus, beautiful blossoming cherry trees. It was gorgeous. And I had my headphones on, as I always do. And I was just walking in my soccer cleats and just like walking through Seattle. And I was listening on my headphones to Jimi Hendrix. It just came on. I think it was Purple Haze. And I was just walking down the street and I just looked up and I saw a huge statue of Jimi Hendrix, the god of Seattle, with this guitar in a giant bronze statue, which is a prominent, important statue in Seattle because he is the godfather of. He really is the godfather of grunge music. We don't talk about that, but he is a guitar god who happened to be from Seattle. And all those grunge guys were all influenced by Jimi Hendrix. I mean, everyone is. So that day, I had an epiphany. I went to a music store in Everett, which is just north of Seattle, about 15 miles. And they had a special on the Fender Squire for $99. And it came with a really tiny portable amp, which is I don't even use anymore. It's downstairs. I think it was destroyed in a flood, but I think it's got in the garbage now. But I bought this guitar, brought it home that night. And I had a YouTube account, but I didn't have any content. And this is way before like they had tutorial videos on YouTube. This is early YouTube. And I just thought I would teach myself how to play guitar. And it was hard because I had no references. I had no tutorials on YouTube at the time. Now there's a million, but back then there weren't. So I saw a tutorial how to play Nirvana, Where Did You Sleep Last Night? And I put the music on and I tried to play to the music. And it sounded so bad. It sounded really bad. Like I didn't know I was holding the guitar wrong. I didn't know how to hold the guitar. I didn't know how to pick. I was doing like chicken plucking. I was holding the neck wrong. I think at one point I was playing left-handed. I didn't know what I was doing. And I just got so frustrated. I'm like, oh my God, this is really hard. And I literally put this guitar in a closet. And it stayed in the closet in storage for 8 years. I never learned how to play guitar. For 8 years, I had this guitar. I never learned how to play. Then the pandemic hit. And we were on lockdown, couldn't leave the house for like, I don't know, it seemed like forever. It seemed like a really long time, didn't it? Where we had to drive to supermarkets and sit in the car and have people put groceries in our trunk and we couldn't get out of the car. It was just wearing a mask everywhere. I mean, remember that? That was pretty traumatic. Anyway, so I said, well, if I can't leave the house, I'm going to take this guitar out of storage, which was in the basement at the time. And I wiped it off. I cleaned it off. And I went on YouTube and I found some tutorials. And the first song, actually, I also bought an acoustic guitar at that point too, because I felt like the electric guitar was too hard to learn so I wanted to learn on acoustic, which is easier. That's what I saw on a YouTube tutorial, that it's better to learn on an acoustic guitar. So I went to the music store, bought an acoustic guitar. I learned the James Bond theme. That was the first song, dun 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 dun. That's what I learned how to play on the guitar. That was my first official song. And then the first song I played on this, I think it was on this. Maybe I played on the acoustic. I don't remember. Was "Where Did You Sleep Last Night" by Nirvana. 8 years later, in 2020, I finally sat down and learned how to play it on. I don't know if I played it on this or the acoustic. Anyway, I learned how to play that song and I nailed it. I mean, it's raw. It's not good compared to how I am now. I'm probably a better guitar player now than I was in 2020. But that's my guitar story about this guitar. It wasn't like I just had this epiphany and just wanted to buy it, just played it. This sat in storage for 8 years before I actually sat down and played it. So better late than never. This is my guitar story for this black Fender Squier, my favorite guitar. I added this whammy bar last year. I went to a music store nearby and I added this whammy bar because I wanted to start doing some interesting soloing, which I really don't use at all that much. I don't use it as much as I thought I would, but I added this whammy bar just to play around with for fun. And this is my Fender Squier, which is in pretty good shape considering that it's moved from Seattle to St. Louis to Milwaukee. And it's been in closets, attics, and basements, but it still sounds okay. It's not the best guitar. It's a beginner's guitar, but I like it. It's super lightweight. I can hold it and not strain. Gibsons are so heavy. Les Pauls are so heavy compared to this. This is so lightweight. This is like a 3-pound dumbbell versus a 10-pound dumbbell, which may not seem like a lot, but when you're playing guitar and like really getting into it, the lighter weight, the better, in my opinion. So that's my story about my Fender Squier, my Black Beauty Fender Squier.